It is such a tremendous chut, a greatest honor and privilege to be in your home. It is such an honor. I cannot thank you enough to be in the home of Akon Hannah Hannali Goslar Pick, who I think everybody knows was the closest friend to Anna Frank.
Yeah, we were neighbors.
And you were one of the last people to ever speak to her?
Maybe.
And you gave, wow.
Because I was in another camp. There was a barbed wire between us. So, and I couldn't see her.
Hannah, it is just, I'm just going to just mention, first of all, you just had your 90th birthday a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I'm also born in November. So just to wish you mazel tov. And may have stream plus mom. But really, mazel tov, mazel tov. You were born in Berlin. And you very first met Anna Frank
in Amsterdam.
In a supermarket with your mom.
Yeah,
your mother.
A little shop. We then didn't have supermarkets.
It was like a little shop.
Yeah.
And your mother and Anna Frank's mother you had escaped in 1933. You left Germany in 1933.
Yes, Frank also.
Yeah, and you were in
and we were neighbors. It came out in the shop, that we were neighbors. Two ladies didn't know Dutch and spoke in German.
And then you saw
Anna again
at the kindergarten.
Several days later in kindergarten. Yeah.
And she you didn't know the other children. It was all foreign.
No, and Anna also not. It was also Anna's first day in kindergarten.
And she was playing with bells.
With
music bells.
Yeah.
And then she ran into your arms.
After I saw only her back. When she finished, she saw me, and then she came because we know already from the shop. And then we stayed good friends. And they came very often to eat with us at Shabbat and so on.
And you stayed neighbors?
After the war, Mr. Frank told me, you are photographing? Mr. Frank told me the first Shabbat in Auschwitz, people wanted to make a Kiddush. And nobody knew by head, and there was no siddur. And Mr. Frank, he told me, he heard it so often in our home because they were invited for food. He didn't know Hebrew, not reading, not speaking, nothing. He made the Kiddush by head.
From being in your home?
From remembering that. I was very excited. But my father, I couldn't tell it anymore.
This was in Auschwitz?
Yeah, it's the first Shabbat after the liberation.
What did you say?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Later he went to be a member in the in the Reform Synagogue. But he didn't, it was more to show I am also here, we are together. But he was not going to synagogue, never before.
So he
was a very good man, he was fantastic.
Hannah, you were with Anna Frank in the Montessori school.
Yeah.
And today it's called the Anna Frank School. In Amsterdam.
Today, yeah. Did you see it? You visited?
Yes, we were, my wife and I and my daughter, we were in Amsterdam. And you spoke to the director of the school?
Yeah, everybody. I was very angry, when I came again. I came very often there because they invited me in to speak. And the last time I was there with a granddaughter, there was how do you say?
A plaque?
Yeah, with the names of the children that died. They died in the Holocaust. Yeah, but they didn't die from Halsschmerzen, how do you say? From a headache or so. They were murdered. I was very angry. So the director told me it was made before he was in charge.
Okay.
No, because it's really, you would think they were sick. They were not sick.
Can I just ask? I know that you met Anna Frank actually in Bergen-Belsen.
Yeah.
How did you get to Bergen-Belsen?
No, we were 1 year longer in Amsterdam. We didn't go into hiding because my mother was pregnant with a third child.
Is this guy...
No, by birth the child was dead and my mother died 2 days later, in 42. But so we didn't go into hiding. To go hiding with a pregnant woman, that's very dangerous. And you see, she died, so what would the people have done with her? That was good we didn't go. And now my father tried to get some papers. Everybody tried something, Mr. Frank also.
Yeah.
He was a friend of the Mr. that owned a part of Macy's. But he couldn't help him, yeah. Strauss, I think, was his name. Okay, so I had an uncle in Switzerland, and he looked for my grandparents that also fled from Germany and lived in the next house, and for my father, my sister, and me, and we got 2 things. We got a passport from Paraguay, and we got a place on a list to be exchanged to Eretz Israel, and the English were accord with this because they wanted to give the Germans back German soldiers, prisoners of war, and the Germans wanted to get rid of us but get their soldiers. And so what really saved us, one or the second, I cannot say, because both things, people with that papers went to Bergen-Belsen and were not sent to Auschwitz or Sobibor. And in Bergen-Belsen was no gas. Yeah. Because my sister and me were too young and my father too old, we were killed immediately in Auschwitz. Yeah. But so my sister and
your sister
me
was Gabby?
Yeah, she lives in Petah Tikva.
And she's 12 years younger than you?
My sister has today 26 grandchildren.
Wow, that's amazing.
All religious people, and they are living most in the Shtachim. Wow. One of her son-in-laws is from Morocco origin, half Morocco, half Kurdish, and he went last month to be a Dayan. And she is very, very proud of him.
Where's he a Dayan? He lives here in Yerushalayim?
No, yeah, but he works in Beersheba. Till now, always all the Dayanim were Haredim, and this time the Datiim Lo'umim got some, and so he got to be Dayan.
So my daughter married also. Half her husband is on the father's side Moroccan and Kurdish on the mother's side.
Ah, here who also?
So it's amazing.
The mother is still alive.
Hannah, can I just ask,
you have one child?
2 daughters, yeah.
And they are here in the country?
My daughter's coming back, but she's studying in South Africa, but she'll be coming back.
And the other one?
She's here. She's studying there, she's married. Modi'in.
Ah,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Hannah, do you remember in Bergen-Belsen when you heard that you asked, when 7,000 ladies were brought, 7,000 women were brought to the camp. No. When you were in Bergen-Belsen.
No, but we were in a special camp.
In a separate camp. But you heard
You
heard that 7,000, you heard that
we heard that they should come, but to the other camp.
And how did you just asked if Anna was one of them?
I didn't know who they are, nothing. But, you know, there was a barbed wire and straw between us. But somehow people started to speak. But we heard mostly Polish and Czechish. And so I didn't look for anybody. I don't know these languages. And one day somebody told me, your friend Anne Frank is here in the other side of the camp. And then at night I went, and that was very dangerous. Because there were German guards, and they would shoot. And very careful, hello or something. And I didn't know, there were 40 ladies from Holland. And they came always nearer the barbed wire, because from our side they heard we were speaking Dutch. We were 90%, we had only 1% or less from Greece, and we were all from Holland. And really then, the lady that I spoke to was Mrs. Van Daan. Her
she
real
was
name,
in hiding with
but
the
her
friends.
real name was Van Pels. Mr. Van Pels worked with Mr. Frank at the factory in Amsterdam. And the lady was there. And then I said my name, she said her name. Oh, you want Anne? We spoke maybe only half a minute. It was very dangerous. And she said, Margot, Margot, Anne's sister, I cannot call for you. She is very ill already. But Anne, I will call. And then she went away, and after several minutes, a very sad voice is calling for me, and it was Anne.
And how,
not the little girl I knew before.
You must have been so emotional when you...
Yeah, sure. And then first thing we both cried.
Sure. Wow.
And then we spoke about the families.
And she mentioned that
she was sure that her parents were dead because of the her father was older. But, you know, the Germans didn't ask. They had no time. So they looked. And he looked younger, and he went to work. And the mother also was, the mother was younger. And the mother was killed, but she died from typhus. She had to stay in Auschwitz and was not allowed to come with the girls to Bergen-Belsen. Not that it was such a big honor, but they thought she will die, and so why shall we move her? And Anne and Margot came.
From Auschwitz to
From
Bergen-Belsen.
Auschwitz with an open train, maybe they had to walk, I don't know. They came to Bergen-Belsen.
And she asked for food?
At the end we spoke, and she asked if I could help. And we had just gotten the first package from the Red Cross. 2 months before the liberation, the Red Cross remembered us.
2 months
and
before.
So I had something aside. We were not used to eat the whole thing at one day. And I said, I will try. And everybody gave me something. Nothing. Look, I came with such a little thing. But it was wonderful. And then I throw it over, and she's crying. Look, I couldn't see her. And I had to throw it very high, and by hearing her. And there were 100 other hungry ladies, and another one caught the package and ran away with it. And Anna was angry and crying, and I had to calm her down. And I promised we'd do it again. We could do it once again, and this time she caught the package. Wow. That I know for sure, but that was all. Because then my father died, and when I came again, everything was empty. The Germans moved all these ladies that were still alive. They came from Auschwitz, in Bergen-Belsen, but to another place. And then I didn't know what happened to her.
And she was...
They died quite quick after, because I met her in February. My father died 25 of February.
And you said shiva?
You'd wait, I don't know. Sitting shiva is impossible.
You couldn't?
No. But I didn't go out for several days.
I mean, for a week.
And when I came, it was empty. So 25 of February, she died in March, we think.
But you possibly could have been, by you helping her, I mean,
that was a little package that wouldn't help so much.
It's worth everything.
But we could do it maybe again, but we also had not enough. And we didn't get packages a lot. Some people got packages from friends or so, even in Bergen-Belsen.
Wow.
Not a lot, but something, but we not.
So, Hannah, wow, how does it... You must have a tremendous feeling knowing that a great schut, that you first of all helped her, that you were one of the last people to speak to her.
I wanted to help. I don't know if I could help a lot.
And you were possibly one of the last people to speak to her. Wow.
Then I didn't know that she will be so famous.
And you mentioned as Hanneli in her book.
Yeah.
And she dreamt about you.
Because we were good friends.
So how did it feel when you read her diary and you saw your name, that she thought about you?
It hurt. No, it was Mr. Frank brought it to me. He was a very, very fine man.
Wow. And what message I mean, you've gone through so much and you've seen so much. what message can we give from, what can we learn, or what message can we...
What can we learn? No, not important. I really don't know. I always say when I am mostly not in Jewish places, it's not important what religion we have, what color we have. That's a new, I got it last Motze Shabbos, and I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works.
When you give
That's a phone call, maybe, I don't know.
When you give your talks...
yeah, I stopped this year.
At the age of 19. But you've given talks all over the world. All over...
in Japan, South Africa. I'm sorry. Hello?
Hi, Dr. Jarel.
Hi.
Okay.
I didn't know about this Paraguay passport, where we did it.
How did you find out?
My uncle sent it to us. And now, a month ago, this boy that phoned now, he was married a month ago. And it was just
your
before,
grandson.
One of them, yes. I have only 2 left that are not married yet.
Not yet.
All the others are married. I get a phone call, and they tell me about my Paraguayan passport and Mr. Ron Kiki. And I thought they want money or so. I didn't know what do they want from me. I closed the phone. And then they phoned again, and my sister also closed the phone. And then there came a letter, but we pay this, the trip to Switzerland and the 2 nights. My daughter, what's happening? And she phoned to Warsaw. There was written something. And then they told her there was a consul in Switzerland from Poland. But Poland didn't exist anymore. It was between Germany and Russia.
It was divided, it was partitioned.
Yeah. And he had no work. And then he, with another one of the consulate and 2 Jewish men, started also to think how they can help Jewish people. And he bought empty passports from countries in South America. And he started to make names in it. And so my uncle could buy in Switzerland, and he made some 1,000 passports. He saved 800 people.
Unbelievable.
And the poor man never, the Polish embassy, nobody knew about him. And, you know, that's my opinion. We were saying the Polish were also very bad, like the Germans. They were looking, what can we do to show that we were better? And then they found that this poor man died in 1958 without money in Switzerland and has no grave. He has a Yeshlo kever, aber no
tombstone. There's no tombstone.
He has no tombstone. And so they invited everybody, as me, but also my kids if they want. So I couldn't go. So my daughter with her husband and 2 of the grandchildren went with her for some days to Switzerland. She had to come back for the wedding. But okay, we have a good friend in Lucerne, so she could sleep there. And later, with the group together, there were a lot of people from Israel and from other countries that were saved by Mr. Ron Kiki. But he has a real name. They told us Ron Kiki, Ronchinsky or something. My daughter will know it exactly. And so they all were there, and he got a nice tomb and stone, and it was all very honorable, and that was it. But so it came suddenly. I never knew, and I had nobody to ask. How did we come to this Paraguayan passport? And people were always wondering because we were liberated in Germany by the Russians and in Tröbitz. And after 50 years, a whole group from Israel went to they went to Westerbork, to Bergen-Belsen, and then to Tröbitz. And I couldn't go, I had bar mitzvah here. But I also paid. They brought a big stone, and in Germany they put it at the funeral, Beta Quarot.
At the, it's like the cemetery.
At the cemetery, and then was written Mr. Cohen from Paraguay and Mr. Levy from Ecuador, and nobody understood. We were all from Holland. But these were the people with the passports. And now I know that in Switzerland the man made them for us.
And you only found the sites?
And in Paraguay they didn't know about it at all. He was punished, or they were very angry with him. And he got no money and nothing.
And no
he
recognition.
Really died,
A poor man.
didn't go back to Poland, and he died without money.
And has this
58 he died.
And you only heard about this a month ago?
Now, yeah.
Wow. And it's now been publicized?
It was in Switzerland and in Israel in television.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll be given Chasidei Umot Ha'olam.
Maybe,
sure,
I don't
sure.
know. I think so, maybe. Wow. After this.
And it was wonderful that your daughter and your grandchildren could be at the ceremony.
It was very nice, he said. And they got everything kosher, and also the hotel, very nice hotel. I was there earlier. Wow. And the whole big group.
It's amazing.
They all went. Who will not go to Switzerland if you get paid and also a hotel?
It's attending a very important event.
Yeah, it was a very nice thing.
And it's really
fall from heaven.
That's amazing.
And nobody was thinking about a thing like that.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you.
So, Mr. Shugihara, and there were some more people that did this.
There was
I
Karl
don't
Lutz.
remember.
No, there was a lot. There was Karl Lutz. Karl Lutz also in Hungary. There was with the Glass House. There were a lot of Jewish. Also a lot of Recha Sternbuch. There were a lot of Weissmandel. There was Hillel Cook. There were a lot of Jewish people that also did everything in their power to help other Yidden.
No, not enough. Yeah.
Hannah, thank you
I
so much.
just had a very nice article. Here I have the Swiss Jewish newspaper, Tachles, and about a villa in France that a Goy took in 100 Jewish children.
Wow.
I have it here at the table. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Here and there were people that did their best, but it was not enough at all.
Not enough at all, yeah. But we're grateful for those who did. Yeah.
Sure.
Hannah, can I ask, you've given talks in South Africa and in
I did,
in Germany, in
Germany,
in
England, in Holland, Switzerland, Japan, Austria. That I think is all.
How did it feel going back to Germany? Was it very difficult?
The first time, yes, but afterwards I saw there are people that changed maybe. They were all very nice, and I think it was important. My sister never wanted to go, and she also has nothing in her home that is German. And then the German invited me because they wanted to make a film to show the roots of Anne Frank and my father. Wow. And my father came from Berlin, and Anne Frank from Frankfurt. And so I told my sister, here, that is a possibility for you. And she really asked the rabbi because she did like this. And he said, you can go. And then she came with me. Once or twice, yeah. But she didn't buy anything. No.
But you know, when I was there, people were very,
Look, she
very
had a much harder because when she came out of the war, she was 4.5 years old. And with nothing. No parents, no money, no clothes, no toys, nothing. Only with me. So for her, after all, I was 12 years older. So it was a little easier.
And do people ask, what message can you give? I mean, you've seen it.
I say that the main thing is that we have to know that we are all, created by God. And if you have another color or another religion or another mind, it doesn't say anything. We have to try to live in peace together. It's very hard, but to try.
To try, absolutely.
As you come from Israel, it is harder to say this, but okay, I hope we also try.
But it's so nice that, Hannah, that you kept your faith, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, my sister is still more religious.
But after losing your parents, your family, it's not as simple as it's...
I know, a lot of people say, difficult. Where was God? Why didn't he help us?
But you survived, Baruch Hashem, and you have a family, and you've seen the creation of the state of Israel. You've lived through it. You were
this was
in
a
1947.
grandson from Tel Aviv that phoned now.
So your parents must be very, very proud, and they see the miracle of the rebirth of the state of Israel, and you were part of it.
My father dreamed of that.
Wow.
He was one of the founders of the Hapoel HaMizrahi in Germany in the 20s.
Wow.
But he was a very high German official also.
And when you go abroad and when you spoke, you were very warmly received?
Yeah,
by
in
everybody.
Germany, very much.
And all over in
no,
Japan?
Never, nothing happened. Nothing.
And when you went to Japan, where did you speak in Japan?
No, we have a group, Beit Shalom, I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah.
And they invited me, so I only was with them.
Okay.
They invited people from abroad, or from another city or so, but I was only with this group. Mm-hmm. And in Kyoto and in, Kyoto, in Tokyo, in Fujihama. Oh, yeah. There were in Hiroshima.
Yeah.
There. And maybe other places.
Wow. And in Germany, you've been in
Germany, I was in the East invited. It was already one country, but I was only... We went also to Bergen-Belsen. There I spoke once or twice. But I was invited in Strausberg. It's near Berlin.
Mm-hmm. And going back to Bergen-Belsen, it must have been extremely difficult.
Yeah, but nothing was there anymore like it was before. Sure. I was several times. My sister also came with me once.
And Hannah, how did it feel going back to Amsterdam?
I had birthday last week. Yeah. From Bergen-Belsen I got a Mazel Tov.
Wow.
I don't know, first time. And not from the director that I know him, but from the Geschäftsführer, Mr. Wagner. I don't know him. Funny.
That's amazing. Well, I'm very glad that they did it.
Yeah, very nice.
It's very nice.
What?
It's very nice.
Yeah, a letter, because I don't know why he didn't by mail.
Wow. And when you went to Amsterdam, going back to your school...
yeah.
Was it very, it must have been very emotional going back to the
everything
school.
Is, yeah, sure.
Wow, well...
Several times. The first time was always very hard.
Well, Hannah, I just cannot thank you enough. Really, there are no words to describe my great appreciation.
But you wanted that I tell that my aunt came from England and wanted to take my sister and me to America because her husband went to be professor in Brandeis University. And my sister and me were in Switzerland by our uncle and waiting for an affidavit or something to get to Palestine. And then I told her my parents would have wanted me, I think, to go to Palestine.
It was under
Then
the
it
British,
was
under the
not
British,
yet
yeah.
Israel and not to America. And she cried, but she had to go, and we stayed there till another year my uncle got for me. He didn't want me to go on Aliyah Bet. Again, the people were sent to Cyprus with barbed wire around that my uncle didn't allow me. And so I went to school 1 year in Switzerland, and my sister had to stay there till I was a little bit, I learned to be a nurse. And in 1949 we had ceasefire after the war, and then I said my sister has to come. And since then we are here and hope to stay here.
And you've been in Jerusalem since
Yeah,
47?
the whole time.
The whole time. Wow.
My sister was in Ranana with a very nice family, and now she is married, has 4 children in Petah Tikva.
It's wonderful.
And a lot, I said 26 grandchildren.
And you have, Baruch Hashem, you've got children and grandchildren.
I have only 11 grandchildren, but 22 great-grandchildren.
Wow, it's wonderful.
Last was born last week.
Mazal tov. Oy, on your, very close to your birthday.
Yeah, 2 days earlier, yeah.
Wow. So Hannah,
No, 2 days after.
I really cannot thank you enough. Really, there are no words to express my deep appreciation. I am extremely grateful for your time and for meeting you. It's such an honor and a privilege.
Thank you.
And I really, I just wish you just all Hashem's blessings, and you should just have Mazal and Bracha and Mevi Stream plus VAT plus
A
Ma'am.
little less.
No, but you're such an inspiration. Hannah, really, you are such an inspiration to all of us. You are such a dogma, such an example, really. And
Why?
you really are. Hannah,
know.
you just what you've gone through, and that you keep your faith, and that you are so positive. It's such a beautiful thing to see, and we are extremely, and I'm extremely grateful for having had the privilege to meet you. It is such a great honor for me. Toda Rabah from the bottom of my heart, and a Shabbat Shalom, and just Mazel and Bracha.
One daughter of my sister lives in White Wagan.
Ah, okay, so it's a small world.
The one that her husband is Dayan.
That's wonderful.
And the others live in Kedumim and in Beit El and in Nitzan.
Wow, that is so good. Well, Hannah, thank you so much, and a Shabbat Shalom, and just Mazel and Bracha.
Thank you for all the things.
It's the greatest privilege to have met you. Thank you.